Hey guys, welcome back to Krabby Shock on a Budget. I'm Beth. This is my mom, Chris.
Today we want to talk about hermit crab basic care needs, especially when you bring them home from a carnival, fair, boardwalk. Maybe you're out you just got it from a friend, or you went to the pet store and you picked it up. We would like to give you a few suggestions on what you can do to make your hermit crab feel a little more safer and be able to especially breathe, because they do have modified gills. They need the heat and humidity in the tank at all times. So, first of all, we're going to show you what they come in.
They usually come in these, which is not good. What is he, like half gallons or something?
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen Darcy on Crab Central Station and her daughter do some basic care. I'm telling you that they're not allowed to be in that. We just wanted to show you, for people who are just starting and have not found Crab Central Station yet, just to give you a quick summary of what you can do. First of all, you could probably just pick up the phone and call your friends. See if anyone has a tank, glass tank, fish tank, 5-gallon, 10-gallon, 20-gallon. Basic care is 20-gallon because they're gonna need a buddy.
Yep.
So they're very social animals. So we start out with a 10. But for our care, we're gonna step out just a quick second and bring you a 5-gallon to show you how you can set up a 5-gallon real easy. Okay guys, so we're not good with camera quite often here, but this is your basic 5-gallon. Usually it comes with these slide screen tops. And you know that these, I don't know if you can see it, these come from the pet store, these heat mats. They do work, but they are not recommended, but they do work, and they will hold you over to your next paycheck or two, or until you can actually find a tank and be able to afford everything. So let's send you straight up. Let's say you get a tank, 5 gallons. You got it from a friend, and now that you've seen the tank, we're just gonna up this a little bit here. So sorry about the camera, but let's say you got your 5-gallon tank from a friend. 5-gallon tank, you're going to start with going by your nearest Tractor Supply or your nearest hardware store. I'm sure they sell play sand. Pick you up, at least, if it's a 5-gallon tank, you're going to need one 5-gallon or 50-pound bag of play sand. At least pick that up. Go to the nearest pet store and get an 8-quart bag of Eco Earth. So bring those home. And what you want to do is a 5-to-1 ratio, which means 5 cups of sand to 1 cup of Eco Earth, and keep mixing and mixing until you get it mixed, which you're only going to fill the tank probably 6 inches, not even, depending on the size of the crab. Now, your crabs are just a baby. You only at least want to start with 6 to 10 inches or less.
It also depends on your size tank too.
Yes, it always depends on tanks. Now you can find all this information, like we told you, at Crab Street Journal, Crab Central Station, and Land Hermit. Lycos, basically. But if you're at the, you do have your tank. So let's say you went to the pet store and you got your sand and stuff from Tractor Supply, and you got your Eco Earth at the pet store. You want to pick up one of the heaters from the pet store to place directly on the whole length of the back of your tank. You don't want to put it under. You can burn your crab if it starts to molt. We suggest, if you know you're going to get money within some time, closest time, and you're only going to do this for a short period of time, we recommend that you only put 2 inches of sub in. This way, they have a chance. It's called a ptsd tank, basically a hospital tank, when you first get them home from the pet store, fair, or whatever. You want to take and do that setup as that, so that they're eating, they're drinking, they're frolicking around, having fun, they're going to survive. But when you get the next tank, you want to go for full-on setup. Now, always, even in your ptsd tanks, you're still going to give them each their bowls, 1 salt, 1 fresh water, and they both need to be primed with prime, and you need to use the instant ocean for your salt water.
And we do have a video on how to make our water pools for your little crabbies.
Yeah, so now these aren't quite useful as much as they used to be, but you can see that we have some stuff down inside here so that they can have a way out or something to grip onto. You just want to make sure they can fully, as babies, there's nothing in this shell, but you want to make sure that they can fully submerge down in.
And there's nothing in this tank either.
Yeah, this tank is completely empty, so we're just trying to give you a basic care needs of how to set up. Now, with your tank, after you've gotten your heat mat and you've gotten, your 2 inches of sand and stuff in there, you want to give them something to hide under.
And crawl on.
Your best piece of wood that you can find at a pet store would be your cork wood. Do not go for the logs. The logs are made of pine. They are very toxic to hermit crabs. Go ahead and get a piece of cork wood from there. Use that as your hide so they can hide under.
You can even probably go outside and find a nice log if you know your trees.
But it has to be cleaned and treated.
Yes.
And so you can find all the files at your, Crab Street.
And that would be the cheapest if you know your trees and you know how to properly clean and sanitize your wood for your hermit crab to crawl.
But basically, in order to keep them just safe and so that they can breathe and survive at least until you get your next tank, so you can get them into a better setup. Heat mat from the pet store. Your basic small tank. If you only have one. You 2 inches of substrate. Started out with a ptsd tank, which is a hospital tank. 2 pools, both fresh and salt water pool. Use your instant ocean for your salt water pools. Your prime. We showed you that before in another video. You always want to make sure you can pick up this time of the year. There's a lot of gardening. You can pick up the worm castings at Tractor Supply too. They eat that. They love that. On Amazon, they have green sand. You want to keep that in the tank too. They can eat that. These gauges are not recommended, but at Walmart you can find your Accutel gauge, digital gauge, for like $10. It's best to get one of those.
Or on Amazon.
Yeah, or on Amazon, and hang it from the screen so that it's only like 2 or 3 inches off the sub, so it's measuring your whole air quality.
You also need a food dish too.
Yep, you need a food dish. And basic foods that you can find is all one just basic ingredient. You can go to your fridge and you can get some spinach leaves out. Make sure they're washed in fresh pine water. Let them dry or even, clean them up a little bit with that. They can eat those. They can eat blueberries. They can eat strawberries.
You can always dehydrate them too.
Yep. Just basic foods you can grab. Now, for your screened-in top, Beth showed the screened-in top. We don't want screened-in top on these tanks. Mm-hmm. Not at all. You want to keep your crab, make sure your crab has the heat and humidity so that you can at least make sure they get by until you can get a proper tank and a proper setup. So, you want to take
some plastic wrap, or some people call it different wrap. I call it plastic wrap.
Your press and seal wrap.
So
you want to wrap the whole entire screen. Yeah, you want to wrap your screen.
So what I personally did is, until I was able to get my 55-gallon tank, I just wrapped it around the whole tank here like this.
Of course, we had it covered a lot better and taped and sealed so it would stay sealed.
I took some packing tape and taped it all down, and I poked like a little hole there to like help vent so it wasn't too high of a humidity.
We don't want you to do that though. We want you to have your heat and to monitor from
Yeah, and that's only if your heat and humidity get way too high. Because you can always tape it right back up.
Yeah, if they get too high, we want you to vent a little. So these are just quick steps. Cover it. Make sure it's all covered and they stay with untouched until you're changing their waters.
And then I took a tablecloth or a tea cloth, whatever you want to call these things. Everybody calls them different names. And I laid it right on top too to help keep it nice and dark for them. And I'd always take it off so they get some light and that type stuff, and it helps keep the heat in and and all that stuff.
Now this is not. This here is not a recommended thing. This is a get you by thing. This is something that you can do quickly, in a hurry. Make sure the crab at least has some closure and some heat and humidity in the tank. Like we said before, it wasn't even recommended for Beth and I, to even attempt to do anything like this. But when we first got our crabs, we didn't know either. So it was a mandatory. You had to make do with what we had here at home. So this is what we learned how to do here at home. We're not experts, and like we said, you can go to Lycos Land Hermit Crab Owner Society, Crab Street Journal, and Crab Central Station to find out better ways of doing this.
And also, the 5-gallon tanks is not recommended. It's recommended that you get a 10-gallon tank. It's 10 gallons per crab. If you only have one crab, you might want to recommend getting another one because they like to have a buddy, and if not, they can die of loneliness.
So if you end up wanting to get that buddy, so at least shoot for a 20-gallon. Now you're going to notice after you put the substrate in it, like we've said before in a couple of our videos, it's going to be not enough room. So
you're going to want to go
bigger as you start out. So, but basic steps, easy to take. Get yourself to Tractor Supply. Get yourself to the nearest pet store and buy that heat mat. Buy those simple little things, or even look on Amazon. Or you can go on Bean Farm and Reptile Basics. They have the actual heat mats you need for the back of your tank. And they need to be covering the whole width of the back of the tank. Never on the bottom, never anywhere else, on the back of the tank.
And remember to always adopt and not to shop.
Thanks, guys. And please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you can still come back to us anytime. Have a good day.